This conversation was a wake-up call. John Goldman, founder of Rebel Health Alliance, brought such a practical but disruptive perspective on the modern sick care system and a new perspective that he has developed with his Rebel approach using his own body. You are going to want to tune into this. It's very inspiring, very empowering.
As always, Kelly, well said. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Fit Over 50 Life podcast. I am your host, Mark Patrick, and you will hear from my co-host, Kelli Calabrese. We got an excellent show for you here today, man. John, welcome to the show. We're going to get into your story, into a quick little introduction. First and foremost, if you are here today and you have not hit that like and follow and subscribe button, we would greatly appreciate that. If you make the commitment to follow us, our commitment to you is to provide you with the best content to level up your life at 50 and above. We will be honest, we will be blunt, we will take this thing to the next level with you, and hopefully you'll join us on this journey in the second half of your life. We would greatly appreciate that. Kelly, would you do a formal introduction for John, and then we'll dive right into John's story, because I'm really looking forward to this.
Absolutely. So today's guest is John Goldman. He's the founder and CEO of Rebel Health Alliance. It's a concierge healthcare company designed to completely rethink the modern health model. And he was frustrated by a system that waits for people to get sick before taking action. So John built Rebel Health Alliance to bring physicians, dietitians, strength coaches, epigenetic counselors, all together in one coordinated precision health team focused on prevention, optimization, and performance. And he's currently running what he calls Project Unreasonable. We're excited to learn what that is. It's a real-time human performance experiment where he attempts to transform himself from an average entrepreneur into a Boston Marathon qualifier in less than 18 months. And he uses his own protocols, data, diagnostics, recovery systems, and precision medicine tools. So we're excited to hear about his message, and this is going to be a fascinating, eye-opening conversation. John, thanks so much for being with us.
Hey, my pleasure. Kelly, Mark, great to see you guys today.
So, John, maybe you could share with our audience your backstory and what got you into all this stuff. Usually we have like a message or just whatever the heck we went through that got us in this pathway for sure. So
yeah, it's perfect. I'm 50, so maybe you can discount some of what I got going on for some of the older folks. I just worked into this cohort here just a few months ago, but
welcome to the club, man.
Thank you. Feeling good, and actually feeling better than I have in a long time. And that was the problem I was trying to solve. About 4 or 5 years ago, I was going to see a primary care doctor who would see my elevated liver enzymes and my elevated cholesterol and my sugars all out of whack and just say stuff like, let's keep an eye on that. And year after year after year, doctor after doctor after doctor had seen my AST, ALT high and cholesterol high, etc., and just had done nothing at all. And one day I woke up and I just looked at my wife and I was like, I feel like absolute crap. I feel like crap every single day when I wake up. Going to bed is like going to war. There's no rest. There's no peace. I don't wake up feeling refreshed. My energy was low. My cognitive ability was low. I was achy and creaky. Like I just thought to myself, I was like, man, I'm like 45. If this is how I'm going to feel for the rest of my life and probably declining year over year, like I got to do something. I got to make a change because it was miserable and it was not a vision that I had for myself as a young man of what I was going to be like in middle-aged and getting older. So I had this biohacker friend and I asked him, I said, guys my age who say they feel great all the time, they're full of it. And he said, no, there actually are people who feel better every single day and know they're going to feel better tomorrow. And I said, okay, man, teach me what you know. And that is where I was introduced to the world of functional medicine, comprehensive blood panels that tell you way more than your basic CBC that you get from your physician, your primary care doctor. It's where I learned about things like a DEXA scan or a VO2 max test or a liver, like an ultrasound for your liver. Like what even is that? Or a coronary calcium score for your heart and arteries, a CAC. I had never heard of any of these things because none of my doctors ever gave me access to them, suggested that we test them, or even looked at my blood work in a way that would lead to any actionable results. So he put me through the best blood work I ever had in my life, a DNA test that analyzed 800,000 snips of my DNA, DEXA scan, VO2 max test, coronary calcium score, ultra liver sound, that is not a thing. A liver ultrasound. And what I had discovered was horrifying. I had, my cholesterol was elevated. I had hyperlipidemia. I had hyperinsulinemia, which means my sugars were completely out of whack. I was pre-diabetic with an A1C of over 6. My C-reactive protein was 5, which is off the charts. I had 4.5 pounds of visceral fat content, which is the abdominal fat that's inside your abdominal cavity that wraps around your heart and your organs. I had almost 5 pounds of that, which is like off the charts, like ridiculous. And my inflammation was through the roof. I had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And I was basically on my way to being, a guy that gets his left foot chopped off at the, diabetes clinic in my 60s. And I had no real idea that this was the case. And because my doctors had never taken the time, didn't have the access to the knowledge to engage with the diagnostic tools, which would tell me what I need to know so that I could be properly motivated in order to make the changes that I needed to make in order to literally save my life. Because of my social media network, I was able to pull together a team of doctors and strength coaches and dietitians and genetic counselors and other people and even bodybuilders and anonymous folks online with cartoon faces that I know what they're talking about. And we built a protocol for me that had me within 6 months. All of my blood markers were totally clear. My A1C was down. My C-reactive protein was normal. I had eradicated the visceral fat. I could see my abs at 12% body fat. I had sleep apnea, which I didn't know. I got that treated and taken care of. I was sleeping through the night. I was waking up energized. I looked my best, felt my best, and thought to myself, okay, I just spent 6 months pulling together all of this, learning. I was between gigs at the time, so I had the time to dedicate to it like a full-time job. And I thought, look, if a guy like me, 45, married, professional, interested in health, I'd always been a lifelong athlete, but it had fallen apart in my 40s, could see value in what just happened. I bet you there are other people out there that would see the same value. And so that is how Rebel Health was started, through my own experience, solving a problem on my own, putting in the time and energy and effort to get to a solution, and then bringing it to people just like me. And that's what we do every single day, and a whole lot more now, which I'm happy to tell you all about.
That's awesome. Yeah, we would definitely love to hear all about that. So there's this sort of a slow fade that's happening, and your blood results are, coming back somewhat within normal limits. What would you say to the guy or gal out there who's feeling that same slow fade that they just accept as this is part of aging?
Yeah, you don't have to accept that. That is fake. If you today go with the flow drags you out into a sea of obesity, chronic disease, and a slow, painful, and then ultimately untimely death that nobody really wants. And maybe in times gone by, you could just live your life on a day-to-day basis and maintain your health. But we live in an environment that is obesogenic. It is making people sick. We see it across the board. It's worldwide. It's even affecting our wild animals and our domesticated animals. They too have grown in obesity, which surprised me when I did our research on this. We have abundance. We have food everywhere. We have the best scientists in the world trying to figure out how to make you addicted to crappy food that does nothing for you but give you empty calories. We, have food choices everywhere. We work sitting still. We drive in cars. We don't get day-to-day activity. The fade has been fabricated. It's been constructed and injected into you, and then we're supposed to internalize some idea that getting old is acceptable, and declining energy and poor performance is something that's just part of life. And that's just all part of the sort of brainwashing psyop that we've all been victim to here. And so our slogan, as a matter of fact, is funny. It's a high performance healthcare for those who refuse to fade. And so in order to fight back against all these forces that are around us, you have to actually meet it with equal or greater energy. And I think that that's something that people don't really want to accept. It's tough because it means that you have to be proactive every single day. You have to create a lifestyle that supports your health and your longevity. You have to make it part of your daily activities. It's got to be part of your vacations. It's got to be part of your family activities. It's got to be part of your hobbies. Like, if you don't, you get fat. You get what I call casually obese. The casual obesity crisis is just enormous. It's the guy who's walking around with 25, he thinks 25 extra pounds, but to a trained eye, it's more like 40 or 50 extra pounds. Or a woman who thinks she only needs to lose 10 pounds to get ready for the beach or whatnot, but really it's like 30. And they've never had a doctor do a deep dive on their diagnostics to really tell them what's going on with them.
Let's touch on that, the deep dive. Let's talk about a GP, what they do, a basic blood profile, and then what's a deep dive mean, John? I know you touched on things like a calcium score. I've had a calcium score. The only reason I was turned on to a calcium score is because my naturopath was like, hey, Mark, here's a cheap test you could do that really, gives you at least a guideline to what's going on there. I know Dr. Gladden Kelli works for a longevity clinic. She's chief growth officer for longevity clinic, Gladden. What is it, Gladden Longevity or Gladden Research? I forget.
Gladden Longevity. Yeah.
So I know he's, in his book, he talks about a calcium score, but that not being the only thing, but nobody talks about that crap for sure. So,
I mean, it's $100. It's $100 and it could save your life, and it can tell you where you're, if you have, it's a picture of your heart and arteries. It takes like 3 seconds. You get in the thing, you just put your hands over your head and the machine goes zoop, zoop, and you're done. You're in and out in like 5 minutes. You're like, is that really it? You can see whether there are blockages in your heart and arteries. On top of that, in our practice, we did a scan and we found a lung cancer in a guy that had not been previously detected. Just for $100 test, saved this guy. And it was like stage 0, and it was easily dealt with, and like he could move on with his life. But your general practice PCP is constrained by time, constrained by systems, constrained by technology, constrained by insurance, and constrained in some cases by profit motive and private equity and things like this. They are also incentivized to churn as many people through the practice as possible, see as many people as they possibly can, stack you up like a sardine inside their office while they just go from door to door to door, grabbing, this is old school, I don't think they do this anymore, but grabbing the clipboard on the way in, flipping through the pages and being like, so what do we have here? Which is the first time that guy has thought about you in a year since the last time you were there, and he gave you 7 additional minutes. This is why they can't do anything deep. They can't do anything extensive or exhaustive or preventative. They can't be forward thinking. They can't craft a plan for you. They can't sit down and figure out what your goals are and help you craft things that are going to fit into your lifestyle that are going to lead to the positive health outcomes. And they certainly don't have access to anything that they can't just push a button on in their EMR to order blood work, to order a scan, or order a test. A DNA test, which can tell you so much about disease proclivity and lifestyle choices you should make and epigenetic optimization, that is not part of their system. Testing for APOB or LP little a, or even like fasting insulin, these are just not parts of the standard protocols. They click one button, they get a CBC, they just get the basic metabolic panel and the normal blood count, and it comes back with the surface level stuff, TSH, that's it, on the thyroid, right? No reverse, T3, no T3 uptake, no T4, none of that stuff that tells the real story. Right? Because your TSH can be elevated for all kinds of reasons, but how is your body actually processing your thyroid? Plus, couple it with a DNA test, which tells how your body is metabolizing it, and then you can really get a picture of where you are with your thyroid activity. And so, because of all these constraints and incentives, you're just by definition not going to get exhaustive, comprehensive, forward-thinking, preventative, deep dive, life-saving, anything. They are going to see LDL high, here's a statin, maybe, you're 50, time for a colonoscopy, because they also, they get credit for like how many men over 50 in their panel have gotten a colonoscopy, right? And so I believe that the future of primary care is direct primary care. It is the direct relationship between you and your physician. It is you paying your physician to give the treatment that you want and you deserve from them. And it has to involve these deep dives, which should be standard. Everybody goes into the doctor's office. They should just get an 8-minute DEXA scan so that they can pull up your subcutaneous fat and your visceral fat and be like, look Look, buddy, I know you think you're 18% body fat, and that's why you're just cruising through life without a care, drinking your 8 APAs and IPAs a week and whatever. But actually, it's 32%, and you 4 pounds of visceral fat, and that's why your C-reactive protein is so high, and you're totally inflamed, and you're insulin resistant, and which means whenever you're eating glucose, your body's going to turn it into garbage that's going to clog your arteries, and you're probably on your way to having a heart attack.
Yeah, and I would add that the doctors are really missing it because not only are they only looking for disease, but they're not looking for optimization at all. They're not walking in and go, man, how can we make this person better? They're just trying to find the disease and have you out of there in 7 minutes with 4 prescriptions. And it never even registers for them to go, man, how can we make this person better so that a year from now they come in and, they're reverse aging.
Right. So our philosophy is this: one, aggressive prevention of chronic disease. We want to make sure you don't get any of the 7 top 10 killers, which are largely lifestyle induced and can be prevented or cured if we find them in the early stages. Number one, first and foremost, aggressive prevention of chronic disease. Number two, salutogenesis. It is a style of medical practice that generates health, creates health, salutogenesis. And then 3, we want you dialed in. We want you looking and feeling and performing your best every single day. So when you say optimization, what does that mean? That means, get highly insulin sensitive, right? And actual muscle to give a place for the food that you eat to go when you eat it. Improve cardiorespiratory fitness so that you can reduce all-cause mortality across the board. You can also make sure that you can move around and be mobile and have the energy that you need. Plus, it improves cognitive ability, it improves recall, it improves stress and emotional management. Like, cardiorespiratory fitness is one of the best therapeutics that we have for so many things. And no one at the doctor's office is really talking to you about that except the passing. You should probably work out more as you walk out the door. Optimization comes hormone optimization. If you're a 50-year-old dude and your test levels free come back at like 300, like why? Why not 600? Why not 800? Why not have the testosterone of a 25-year-old man? Why not be able to build that muscle and have that vitality and have that transformative effect on your mood and your confidence and all these things? Same with women. There's no need to have a slow decline into perimenopause and menopause and have it be a horrible experience. You can optimize your hormones today. You can optimize your thyroid activity today. Like, why not? And the side effects of not acting, people worry about, women's hormone therapy, could lead to cancer, although they just changed all those opinions on that recently. But what are the consequences of not adjusting it? What are the consequences of not optimizing your testosterone levels? And so we firmly believe, we're not a TRT clinic, not at all. However, if through lifestyle interventions and dietary changes and proper sleep and good sunshine and resistance training and protein, adequate protein levels, we're not seeing the movement that we want, then sure, we can absolutely move towards some level of TRT. Same thing when it comes to like GLP-1s and stuff. We're not reaching for them first. We're definitely not a Hims or a Rose or whatever. Like, we have elevated the strength and conditioning coach and the registered dietitian onto similar level with the physician, because we know that movement is medicine, and we know that food is medicine, and we know that they're oftentimes the best medicines, and you can solve so many problems, medical problems, with proper resistance training, sufficient cardiorespiratory exercise of both zone 2, zone 5, a good mix of stuff, daily movement, eating the right foods, the right number of calories, the right macro distribution, the right micros for you based on your blood work and your DNA. And when you put this together comprehensively, the health outcomes follow. And generally we can de-prescribe rather than prescribe, which is what our goal is, because we have no reason to put you on a medication. We're not making any money off it. We don't get any kickbacks. We don't have any quotas to hit. We don't get any incentives for filling our population with X amount of statins. We'll have that conversation. But, around statins, it'll be, what's your family history? What's your diet? What's your coronary calcium score look like? What's your genetic predisposition? Maybe we need to do a CT angiogram and get a little bit more of a forward-thinking perspective, rather than on the hard calcifications. We can look at the soft ones. And then we make a decision. And we try other things first. It's not just plop, have some statins, forget about all the side effects. Sorry, I'm passionate about this subject, so I got plenty to say.
I didn't see it. I just thought you were slacking here, John, man. So, geez, man.
John, is this your background? I know you're an entrepreneur. You've been in business. Were you in the medical? No, not at all. Okay, so you ramped up fast.
John is you are well read in this subject because the way you roll off these things it's spot on, John. And that's not stroking your ego because I don't do that. You definitely hit home on a lot of these things. So that's fantastic. So, how long did it take you to get to this level of research and tweaking things and, really getting this message down so that you can really serve people properly?
It took me a couple of years. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I had the first, my experience I described earlier was in 2022. And
Okay.
then we started planning the business in November of 2022 and then launched June of 2023. And I would say for another good year after that, I was definitely still on the uptake. But I had always followed guys like, I know his name is a little toxic these days, but I had followed Peter Attia back since when he was a micro blogger on keto that nobody knew about. And so I have been tuned in to sort of the style of thinking, but I didn't really know all the stuff, right? I didn't know about the labs. I didn't know about all the things that we could do. And, his book Outlive came out right when we launched our practice. So like we were really well positioned when that happened. But there's, I stay on top of the field every single day. I'm reading as much as I possibly can. And I luckily have, an amazing chief medical officer and lead physicians and great dietitians. And, they're teaching me, every week as well, too. And then, you just learn through trial and error on your own self.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of trial and error, you really started by putting your own body on the line. You did it a very public way. Is that how Project Unreasonable was launched? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Project Unreasonable is my attempt to go from a 5-hour and 18-minute marathon to a Boston qualifying marathon, actually in 1 year. It's a 3:20 marathon at my age group at age 50. And, for reference sake, it's like a 7:27:25 minute per mile for a 26.2.
Can you use a bike for that or no?
Yeah, right.
If
And
that's the
so
case, I'm in, man. So
we have the whole team at Rebel. I also partnered with like a really famous, world famous endurance coach who's got a really strong social media presence as well. And so we teamed up, added him to the Rebel team. I've got my doctor, my performance dietitian, I've got my physical therapist, my strength coach that's CSCS certified, amazing guy, plus my endurance coach. And together we have crafted a plan. And the way that the name came about was, like, it's not impossible to qualify for Boston at this point in your running career. I'd been running for like a couple of years. It's just entirely unreasonable, and it's going to take some unreasonable stuff. You're going to have to do some unreasonable things. And I went super public with it because despite the fact I'm in great shape and all this, I need accountability. I joke that I built Rebel Health just to keep me accountable for my own health. Because if I'm going to be the face of this thing, I got to keep myself in good shape and I got to be on the ball. I need big accountability structures. And so I went public with it, 100,000 Twitter followers, and announced it, and it spread all over, and we got all kinds of crap and pushback and people calling me an idiot and saying there's no way and this and that. And, I'm 6 months in now, it's a little 6.5 months in, and the excitement of starting the project has worn off a little bit. And my race that I'm scheduled for is 6 months away. And so the excitement for the race hasn't picked up yet. So I said the other day, I'm like kind of in the doldrums. I mean, it's just not fancy. It's not exciting, but this is where the real work gets done. And I'm running, I ran 43 miles, 44 miles last week. I've run over 40 miles a week for the last 12 weeks, ramping from 20 up to into the 40s in the 12 weeks before that. I cross train 4 or 5 times a week. I row about 40,000 meters on the rower each week. I lift, I do my PT. And maybe the hardest part of all is that I'm 6'4". I was 245 when we started this at 18% body fat by DEXA, which is not fat. It's not like shredded lean by any means, and it's totally perfect walking around weight at 18% body fat. So I'm a big dude with muscle I've built over a long time. I'm aiming for 190 for my race weight. So I am now 205 today. So I've lost, 40 pounds. And I've got another 15 pounds to go. I'm eating away at the muscle that I spent my whole life building. I'm so lean right now. I got veins popping out of everywhere. I'm seeing muscle separation I've never seen before. And I'm just, on a caloric deficit that is threading a needle between losing the weight as quickly as we can, but preserving my ability to perform in the workouts as well. And it's a really tight channel that you have to be in. And working with my performance dietitian, we're calibrating. We have, different carb loads for different, workout days a week. I got like 5 different, plans for the week. And we've gone through cycles where hard and then lighter and then maintenance and then a little bit of a surplus and then back hard again. And I originally used retatrutide to get the first 25 or so off pretty quickly, which is an absolute miracle drug. I had a bunch of side effects that we could talk about later if you want. But I got off of that. And so I'm just, because it obscures your resting heart rate data and your HRV data. It elevates your resting heart rate dramatically. For me, it put me into the 70s, and I'm naturally at like mid 40s, low 40s. And it just cratered my HRV. And the HRV is such a strong training signal for us to see where we are in terms of like load management.
HRV, just share with the audience what HRV is. In case they
Sure,
don't know.
that is heart rate variability. And by tracking your heart rate variability over time, you can see how well your body is absorbing the training load that you're putting onto it. And so having that number be skewed by a drug you're taking makes it really hard to assess where you are in terms of your fatigue over time as your training load increases. And so we're constantly, we pull back some weeks and we push some weeks, and we're using that data to be as smart as we can. So I'm just white knuckling the diet right now. 1,800 calories some days, which is really, really tough. 2,300 calories on a medium day like today. So that's a little bit of a joy. And then 2,600 calories on my long run days. When I'm running like 14 miles, 15 miles a day, I get all of 2,600 calories for me to eat.
So you're running a 400 calorie addition on the days you're running 14 miles, which is probably burning how many calories?
Yeah, like another 1,800 probably.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So it's tough. It's tough. This is the hardest part. But the goal here is to reach my race weight by July. So I have another 5 weeks to get off. Maybe we'll get off another 12 pounds or so. And then eat at maintenance for the rest of the time, because my official marathon training block starts in July. Everything we did for the 9 months leading up to was all base building. It's all very much zone 2, occasional speed work, occasional strides, occasional hills, but 90% zone 2, 130 beats per minute, hard heart rate cap, building the mitochondrial function, improving my stroke rate, like increasing blood plasma, building the blood capillaries, basically making it so that I can then do a training block come July and into November, where I'm going to be burning 4,000 and 5,000 calories a day, and I'm going to have to eat it and fuel it and everything. So I keep telling my wife, I'm like, babe, the pizza, it's coming. Ice cream is coming. I can be fun again. We can go out. We can do it. It's coming. I promise. And she, to undertake something like this, you have to have the whole support of the family. She hasn't had me in bed when she wakes up for 6 months. I'm out the door 5 o'clock in the morning every day. Everything on the weekend is designed around, me going and doing 2.5 hour long run, and you have to have the support for something this extreme.
It's a big sacrifice, yeah, not just on you, but your partner for anything like this, whether somebody's doing a bodybuilding competition or anything. It is just hell. I mean, there's no fun, but
yeah. And look, it's people listening, like, you don't have to do this to get healthy. Like, you don't have to do it. I'm doing this because it was a mountain I wanted to climb. I was a Muay Thai champion in my 30s. It was something I just fell into and I loved it. And then I just got into it, and, I won a couple of titles. Like, I was a DJ as a kid just for fun, and then I pushed it as far as I could. Like, it's just my nature, right? Like, I just push things kind of to the extreme, and I wanted to do this. I wanted to check running off of like my abilities that I had in life, because I was never much of a runner. You don't have to do anything like this in order to be healthy. You don't have to eat this kind of deficit. You don't have to run this kind of mileage. You can do 3 or 4 40-minute, zone 2 workouts a week, one maybe HIIT workout a week. resistance train 2-3 times a week, eat at a maintenance level calories, the exercise will burn off the weight over time. Like, there are much simpler, saner, sustainable ways to be healthy for your longevity than what I'm doing. What I'm doing is totally unreasonable, and that's the name. And when we're done, I'll be so happy to get back to sustainable.
So in this process of turning yourself into a Boston Marathon qualifier, what has it taught you about the human potential at 50 years old?
Oh, great question. Look, as we get older, we all suffer from sarcopenia, the loss of muscle. We all suffer from declining VO2 max capacity. Time is dragging you down. But yet it doesn't mean that your peak has already passed. And I am absolutely beyond the shadow of a doubt at my peak cardiorespiratory fitness that I have ever had in my life by far. I'm over a VO2 max of 50 at 50, which puts me in the elite category. And it's getting better. Like, I am still getting better. I am improving all the time. Now, if I was at the peak of my career, if I was an Olympic runner or whatever, there would be a decline in my performance. I just have yet to reach my ceiling. I've yet to reach my ceiling, and I'm going to find it, and I'm going to push all the way there because I'm a knucklehead like that. But at age 50, your best days, again, unless you're like an Olympic fitness person, like, your best days could still very well be ahead of you. And it is your duty and your responsibility to your family and to the people that depend on you and the people that care about you to put yourself in a position of success for when you're in your 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, so that you are capable and functional and not a burden, and you don't die early, and you can see your grandkids graduate high school and all those great things. But the time to do it was like last year. But if you didn't start last year, start today. And you have no idea what your ceiling is, and you can just keep pushing from here.
Non-alcohol fatty liver disease. How did you find out? What made you go down that rabbit hole?
The elevated AST, ALT, my liver enzymes had been on my blood work forever, and doctors had always just shrugged it off. And it was just part of sort of the comprehensive thing that we did, including the coronary calcium score testing, which luckily for me came back at a 0. Then we saw the evidence of the non-alcoholic fatty liver, and we engaged in a protocol involved high intensity interval training, some intermittent fasting. We used berberine, I think, was really effective in helping me with that. TUDCA was also very effective. TUDCA, very effective in lowering the liver enzymes. And now mine are just like in the 30s, or whatever, like a normal person, instead of 80s and 90s and spiking like they were before. And there's not fat just like all inside of my liver.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how many people suffer with non-alcohol fatty liver disease. It is over probably 100 million people. It's something. Give you a quick story. My grandfather died of liver disease. My dad also died of liver cancer. Neither of them were big drinkers. So I think about 2 or 3 years ago, I became really intrigued about this area. And one of the things a lot of people don't realize is things like the artificial sweeteners, or more specifically, just anything with fructose not bound to a fiber, how much that plays a negative impact on your liver for sure. So yeah, that's really great story. So what do you got to do to qualify for the Boston Marathon? I don't think we really covered that.
Yeah, 320 race, like around a 720, 725 pace for the entire thing. And the listed time is like 320.
So you have to do other marathons at that time, right, to qualify for the Boston Marathon?
You have to do it at a separate marathon. And so many people will hit the qualifying time that in order to reduce the pool of entrants after you think you've qualified, then they adjust it. And then it goes, instead of it being 320, you don't know what it's going to be. It's dependent on the number of people who qualified at the 320. And so it could be as high, could be as quick as 316 probably. So our goal is 315.
Yeah, it basically shifts a little bit there.
Yeah.
So Kelly, I think we should talk to John about an ultra marathon after he finishes this marathon here, because we've got a few guests on there for that have done those 100-mile
Yeah, they get
deals.
dropped into the desert and they run out for a couple days with a backpack and
I mean, sign me up. Sounds good. The progression for me is anything like what I've seen for other guys like online. Once I do that, I'm sure the trails will start calling me and the ultras will start calling. It's a whole different mindset, right? Like, the speed becomes less of an issue. It's more about survival and fueling and pacing.
All right, so let's dive into this, John. Let's say I'm just a typical guy who's out there who's 50 some years old, been taking care of my family, working hard, putting myself on the back burner. Now my kids are out of the house, or I'm a woman, the same thing. I want to level up my health. What are some of the things that are important to do? Let's go through like 5 simple things people could learn from us right now. They're going to take to their life, apply it, and start living a healthier lifestyle. What would be the first thing you would suggest?
Sure. So before I get into real specific concrete items, I would like to talk about our 7 pillars of longevity, because you can really couch everything in this. So I have to use my fingers because I invariably forget one sometimes. Okay. So the first one is get and stay lean. Carrying excess fat, visceral fat, subcutaneous fat, all things bad happen coming from excess weight. Get and stay lean. It's better for your joints. It's better for everything. 2, move a lot. And by a lot is going to be relative to who you are. So for somebody who's just getting started on a journey, this is going to mean like getting up and walking a couple miles a day. Half an hour, 45 minutes, walk the dog around the blocks. Just start with that. 3, eat the right foods. We all know what the right foods are. Whole foods, balanced, vegetables, fruits, good meats, good fats, healthy fats. Stay away from the processed food. You want to go Mediterranean, fine. You want to eat your chicken, fine. We're not advocates of carnivore or keto or paleo or whatever. Just whole balanced, pretty much an even split across the macros, depending on your body size and muscle content. Probably more protein than most people are used to eating, actually. Good chickens, good fish, some steak here and there, potatoes, sweet potatoes, vegetables, like, what it is, olive oil, avocados, like we all know, right? So what do we say? Get and stay lean, move a lot, eat the right foods, lift heavy things. So you got to resistance train. Resistance training is 100% essential. It's not about the beach. It's not about bodybuilding. It's about giving your food a place to go when you eat it, right? Your glucose that you eat needs a place to go. If you don't have any muscles, it's going to float around your body. It's got to go into your muscles, which stores glucose, and you use it for energy later. It's amazing. Also, it helps you stay mobile so that when you get older, you can go up the stairs and move around and not be couch bound and stuff like that. You're going to lose muscle mass no matter how much or how little you have over time. So you might as well put some money in the bank today for the times when you're paying those withdrawals in your later years. Sleep. Guard your sleep with your life. It's one of the absolute most fundamental things that we have to do. I used to think I was a night owl. I used to think that I thrived on staying up until like 1 or 2 in the morning and using an alarm to get up at 7:30 or 8 after I needed a sleeping pill to fall asleep. I took our DNA test. My DNA told me that my ideal sleep window was between 8 and 10 p.m. and then waking up between 4 and 6 a.m. I forced myself into that schedule. It was a tough transition, but I am now, I fall asleep without any medication, without any alcohol, without any THC, sleeping pills, nothing. I'm drifting off at like 9:15. Bedtime for the whole house. Even my teenager has to go to bed at that time. Like, if you want me to say goodnight to you, it's time for bed. And so she goes upstairs, goes to bed. That won't last forever. I'm still holding on to that. And so I'm in bed by 9:30, 9:45 every night, and my alarm. Sometimes I need the alarm for the early morning runs. Otherwise, I would sleep till about 6 or so. And then I get up around 4:45, 5 a.m. But on a non-running day, I'll sleep and wake up around 6. So I notice when I don't get the right amount of sleep. The sleep leads to performance. Sleep leads to cognitive ability. Sleep is where you heal and repair. It is essential. Please get your sleep in. and stop thinking you're a night owl. Very few people really, really are. We're all pretty much, we like the sun. Sun's really good for us. Nighttime is good for sleep. Sleep at night. It's not rocket science there. All right, so those are 5 things that you might have expected to hear. The other 2 are build a community. You have to be surrounded with people, like-minded people that share your interests or values or goals. You engage with, whether it's coaching Little League or going to church or having a block party or working at a nonprofit or whatever it is. It's got to be a thing that's not your job, that's not your work, where you're just out and you engage with people. Humans are communal. We thrive in community. Science clinically shows that study after study that people are happier, healthier, and wealthier when you participate in a community. And then the last one is meaning. You got to have some meaning in your life. There's got to be a reason you're doing all this stuff. And early on in the intakes, when people come into Rebel, we really drill into their meaning, their purpose. Like why you say you want to lose 20 pounds. Why? Oh, because I want to look better. Why? Because of this, why? Okay, but really know why. Oh, because your dad died at an early age and you miss him every single day and you don't want to give your kids that same painful thing. Oh, all right. There's some meaning there's a little bit of meaning for you. Or, you're on a mission to build a thing that's going to save you. Like, who knows? It's your thing. If Viktor Frankl can find meaning for himself in a freaking concentration camp, you can find meaning in your Western American lifestyle, which is middle, upper class or whatever. You can find meaning. Find some meaning. And you combine all these things together and you will, I'm not saying you're going to live to 120, but I will say for sure that you will have the most vigorous, vital, powerful, happiest time while you're alive, rather than being Uncle Joe that we all know, who got into his chair at age 65 and waited to die and was dead at 71. Like that. This is what we're after. We're after a life worth living rather than one where you're waiting to die. Anybody that says we're going to make you live 120, they're full of it. We're gonna do the health span thing. We're gonna make those years as best as possible.
So the clients you're working with are probably pretty high achievers. This is concierge medicine. This isn't insurance. This is a self-pay thing. So they're probably pretty high achievers. Are there any patterns that you see in that group that were contributing to taking away from their health that maybe the general population might not have? Anything specific to that group that they were really harming themselves?
Definitely. And I'm going to answer that question in detail, but I do want to interject here. We have developed, in conjunction with Sedera Health Sharing Community, a product now that allows people to cancel their health insurance and to use our joint product as a way to take care of their health and to take care of the unexpected events that might come up, sickness, injury, illness, etc. And so we're really hoping to move not away from, but expand the type of people that we're able to serve away from people that can just afford to pay cash on top of their individual health insurance plan. So we're really excited about that, and we think it's going to be transformative.
Is it like a health sharing type?
Yeah, health sharing.
Okay.
Yes. And Sedera has been around for 15 years plus, 100,000 members, and people love it. And it's a perfect match for us because we're keeping you out of the hospital. We're doing the preventative work. We're making you healthy. Your doctor's on speed dial. You can talk to us anytime. You have a strength coach. We're creating health in you, and you really just need something in case you break your ankle while you're out running, right? Or
Right.
Something really bad happens, and that doesn't happen very often.
Catastrophic.
Catastrophic. Yeah. So the patterns that we see in people that come to us that need help. So we get a mix, right? It's a bell curve. We get a ton of people who are already dialed looking for the next best thing. How do I get from 99 to 100? And we absolutely work with those people. We have Olympic athletes that work with us, silver medalists that work with us, Olympic hopefuls, aspirational athletes, professional athletes work with us. We've got what we call the professional amateurs. I'm sure you know some of these people, the guys that spend $20,000 a year on triathlons and bikes and all this stuff, only so that they can finish 138th out of 500 and be super proud of it. Professional amateurs, love them. That's me. Like no shade. And then we got the big middle, which is in their professional life they are highly agentic. They're CEOs, they're small business owners, they're executives, they're wealth managers, they're real estate guys, small business owners. We have a crazy list of, a guy owns tractors in Nebraska or whatever it is, but they know how to make things happen in their life, right? They're decisive, action-oriented people. What happens is they forget that in order to be the best version of themselves possible, to make all the things in their life possible that they're trying to achieve, they've subordinated their health. They forgot about it, or they deprioritized it, and it just creeps up on people. And then we catch a lot of people at a point where I've heard, I just sold my company, or like my kids have graduated, now I've got some more time, or it's like some break in their life that like lets them come up for air, and they're like, wow, I really haven't been taking care of myself. Shit, look at me. And so that's when they double down and really put the investment in. And so I think the common theme that I see is just this health subordination to the overall other goals in their life, where it's backwards. That in my opinion, that's backwards. Like I was saying, like, your business will only be as optimized as you are. And if when you're a leader and a builder or creator, you realize after a certain point that your productivity, you're the limiting factor. Like, your ability to manage stress, your cognitive ability, your ability to absorb the workload, sure, you delegate and you have systems and all this, but eventually, like, you just have to get better. Like, you have to be better at life in order to grow your business and to take on more challenges. And people, I think, forget that. And so they just get put to the bottom of the list, of their own list. And moms are the worst about this. Moms will break their back all day taking care of, even professional moms, stay-at-home moms. They take care of everybody else. They're amazing at that caretaking thing, and they're doing it, and they're bearing that weight, and they just don't put themselves on that list. And unfortunately, again, I think it's backwards. I don't think it's selfish at all to put your health and wellness as your top priority. Because if you do that, and assuming you're not doing anything stupid like me and taking up too much family time and blah, 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 and building your whole family life around my Project Unreasonable, you putting yourself first makes it possible for you to serve everyone else better. You have more energy, you feel better, you have more confidence, you're able to go do more things, you can play more with your kids, you can take on more tasks, you can be more productive at work and at home and in life, and have better vacations and have those moments with your kids that other people can't. Man, like, you go to the park and you see there's a handful of dads and moms out there playing with their kids, and then there's like 50 of them sitting around on their phones who don't have the energy or the focus or the drive to like be that engaged parent. So all the good health unlocks a good life. It's another one I like to say. And so, like, really, if you focus on yourself and don't get obsessive about it, you can be a better mom, better dad, better colleague, better parent, better servant in every way. And so the subordination, to your question, the subordination of one's health to other priorities is the common pattern. And because it's not a lack of knowledge, generally. We don't get anybody into practice that is Mountain Dew good for me, or like, I eat McDonald's every day. Why have I had any problems, right? Like, no, everybody generally knows what they're looking for with us is precision, structure, coaching, support, access to tests and tools, access to technologies, accountability structures, things that make things simpler for them to move forward. Quarterbacking the healthcare is what we do. We're not convincing people that you shouldn't eat 10 pieces of cake every day.
So you've really redesigned healthcare almost from scratch, the way that it should be designed, and you've talked about it, a bit throughout this interview. Is there anything that you didn't touch on that you really want the listeners to hear about how healthcare should be, or what you offer at your clinic?
Yeah, thank you for that. I mean, I think the most important takeaway from this is, one, it's never too late to get started on your own personal health journey. Absolutely, just start today. Start by just going for a walk. Go for a walk, go for a 0.1 mile longer walk tomorrow, and just compound that over time. I'm running 45 miles a week this week. I couldn't run 1 mile 3 years ago. And it's just compounded over time. And I look back at my chart and I'm astounded that I'm eating 45 miles a week without any major problems. It's just astonishing to me. So it's never too late to get started. When it comes to the healthcare environment in general, you have to exert an equal or greater force against this sick environment that we live in. So if you think you're going to be fine just by coasting, you're probably really not going to. If you think that this system that exists that you're just tapped into through work or just low effort, low agency, like, oh, that's just the insurance I've got, is going to help you, they're absolutely not. Costs are going to continue to go up. The whole thing is structured so that prices continue to go up. It's the only way they make more money. No one cares about you in that entire stack. Every bit of it, from pharmacy to benefits to prior authorizations to denials, all that, it's all designed to take money out of your pocket and to put it into theirs and not to make you healthy. The only place you're going to get real, honest to goodness health from someone that cares about you is outside of that system. And it doesn't have to just be for concierge anymore. It can be direct primary care. We call ourselves high performance primary care. And you can get your financial coverage taken care of by community health sharing, which is not like some freaky weird thing that's unproven. It's time tested. It's the way original insurance was. Community members pulling together to help each other in times of need. Like, wow, crazy novel idea, right? You would think it'd be more prevalent, but they make it very difficult legally to operate these things. And get in a health share. We think that the Rebel plus Sedera combo is the way to optimize your health, optimize your payments and within the system with the cash pay negotiation that we offer, optimize your financial coverage, optimize the entire process. It's cheaper. You have more independence. It's your doctors. It's your team that you choose, and you can get what you need and what you want and be protected in case of emergency, illness, or sickness. And you never have to deal with Care First or an explanation of benefits or why do I have to pay this thing again on top of that. You never have to deal with that ever again. So that was our vision when we first started this. And we started with the longevity concierge. We added the primary care. We added the cash pay negotiation team and like seeking out good cash pay benefits for folks. And now we've added the community-based health sharing. And now we've got like the full ecosystem. And we're really excited about taking it out there.
For those listening on audio, I'm smiling ear to ear. That's incredible.
Could you imagine the system rolling out and replacing our sick care with wellness care? There would be literally, it would change the face of the United States. We could put it together.
Entirely. There's 100 million people with prediabetes and they don't even know it. There's so many sick people that don't know it. There's like 60, 70% of Americans have 2 chronic diseases. Everybody's on medication. I got a degree in economics, and we used to talk about the choices between guns and butter as like the government spending decisions. Today, it's health and education, health and national security, health and like, I've been calling our health situation a national security crisis for years because the costs are just exploding in managing all this stuff through health-funded or government-funded healthcare. That it's going to just, the system is going to implode. Like at some point, it's just going to completely break down. And we need to solve the financial component. We need to solve the health and optimization and the wellness component. And we need to provide a life raft for people who have already come to the understanding that they're not going to get healthy, they're not going to get the care, and they're definitely not going to get taken care of in the current system, and they need a place to eject. And that's what we think we've built. It's the name Rebel was chosen for a purpose. Like we're rebelling from the system, or we're like, they're the evil empire. We're the scrappy rebels over here fighting the good fight. And come join us. We got like our nice little home base. Everybody's taking care of you, and we can all get happy and healthy together, and have the community that you need for longevity on top of it. So, I'm excited just talking about it, guys.
Yeah, sign me up. Take my money. Let's go.
Seriously.
Awesome.
John, for the person out there listening, watching, who's feeling overwhelmed, discouraged, intimidated, where should they begin? How can they find out about what you do and your services?
Yeah, I am the founder and the CEO, and I have got an amazing team: chief medical officer, head of ops, everything. I don't do any of that. I am out here on the front door. I love talking to people. come find me on Twitter. It's at John Goldman. Send me a DM. I'm so happy to talk to you. Go to the website, fill out the form, and book a call. It goes onto my calendar. Come talk to me. It's rebelhealthalliance.io. Just go click the form, fill it out, and you can show up on my calendar as soon as tomorrow. Find me on Instagram at John Goldman __. Some other John Goldman, two of them, I guess, beat me to the punch there. John Goldman __. DM me there if Instagram's your favorite place. Just reach out. This is what I do all day. I talk to people. I'm online all the time. I want to help you. I mean, I have coached people live on Twitter that we never took $1 from, that never signed up for our services, checked in with us every single day, and we just help the guy. Like, we're on a mission. Like, we are mission driven here. So reach out, talk to me. If we can help you, I'm happy to have you join our practice. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer it. We're out there. The door's open. Call us anytime.
Well, we love that you're challenging the sick care system, and that, getting older doesn't automatically mean, this slow fade, weakness, sickness, dependent on a reactive system. So, thanks for just calling us all to rise up, to not rely on a sick care system to save us, and to not wait for disease, to not be average. But to really measure, understand, optimize, take ownership. I mean, we just love your message and everything that you have to say. So we hope this episode really challenged people to think differently, to be inspired, to get proactive about your health, to look into health sharing, to check out John Goldman and everything they're doing at Rebel Health Alliance. And it's possible. You can live longer, stronger, more energetic, vibrant years, and the best can be ahead of you. Love your message, Sean. It's very inspiring.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Kelly.
I think you needed to be more excited, John. I think you were just not excited at all, man. So no,
I was getting hyped up. I was like, man, this sounds really
I was like,
good.
he didn't know, man. Keep going. Shut the hell up. Don't
Where's
talk.
my credit card?
This sounds so good. And I think, that's, I know we're wrapping up here, but, if you're starting a business, build a thing that you want. Like, be passionate about it. And it becomes easy. It becomes easy because you believe. And when you believe, you're willing to go as far as you're willing to go through everything you need to go through to build a business, which is absolutely not easy. But, be passionate. And, my dad told me when I was a little kid, he said, do what you love and the money will follow. I don't know that is 100% true all the time. Well, you can definitely find money doing things that you don't love. And you can definitely do what you love and not get paid for it. I am lucky that I have found that doing what I love is also a productive way to take care of my family and to build value for the community that we have. And it was a very conscious decision I made, which was I wanted to do something that was good for me, good for my family, good for my community, hopefully good for the nation, and have it all be in perfect alignment. And I'm very blessed that I had the opportunity in front of me that I seized and have just been grinding on it bit by bit. And thank you so much for giving me the chance to share it with everybody.
Yeah, we believe you're going to democratize what you're doing here across the whole nation, that it's just anything we can do to, support and evangelize what you're doing. We are happy to do that.
Thanks so much, Kelly.
I always say this, that, if somebody's here today and you're listening or watching this, that your intuition is what the hell got you here today. You didn't just stumble on this podcast. You found this thing for a reason. John, man, let me tell you something. We meet a lot of people on this podcast, and there's a handful of people that get it. You're definitely one of them that get it. Again, not stroking your ego, just, getting the bullshit out of the way, saying that you walk the walk and talk the talk. Is there a website? Did we give the website out or no?
rebelhealthalliance.io.
rebelhealthalliance.io, or go chase John down on social media here, stalk him.
Please.
Send him a DM and he'll get back to you.
100%.
And I honestly, John, I believe this. I believe you'll sit down with somebody, anybody, just because you're passionate about what the heck you do, whether they do business with you or not. You're going to shake them up and say, they're going to walk away with a good, positive feeling about what the heck you're trying to do for them, whether they follow through on it or not, whether they have a strong why or not. That's totally up to them. But that was also an important point that you hit home, is what the heck is the emotional leverage that you're going to use to move the needle here. And that's probably one of the most important things. Appreciate you coming on the show. Hopefully everybody will check you out. Love to have you back on some other topics here. We could talk about Retta. We didn't get into that today. I would love to talk about that a little bit as that thing rolls out. And, maybe getting people to not think about going on those medications or the Ozempics or the GLP-1s and why they need to go out there and optimize their health overall versus just taking a shot once a week. We can get you back on for something like that, because I'm sure you got an opinion on that too.
Oh, for sure. There's a right way and a wrong way, and it's sadly looking like the wrong way is winning right now.
The wrong way is definitely winning, but sooner or later the wrong way is going to run out of ways, and then people are going to wake the hell up and go, what the hell was I thinking? I took the shot. I didn't change my habits. I didn't change my beliefs. I didn't work on the unresolved trauma. I didn't work on competing values. Like you said, somebody who's struggling with business or being a mom, they have that, cognitive dissonance that they struggle with there. Well done. Well done. Well, hopefully you all, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you, John, for coming on the show. I hope you all got something out of today's show that you can definitely apply to your life. Kelly and I are just bouncing off the walls here. We're coming to the office, man. So, something you could apply to your life and live a healthier lifestyle. In the meantime, thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe, and go chase John down and send him a DM. We will see you all on the next episode. Bye-bye now. Thanks again.
Thank you, everybody.